YouTube, what is going on? Theo Bean here. Today we are be going over a video that was dropped by IGN recently. This is a boss fight with Clive fighting versus Liquid Flame. Liquid Flame is an enemy that was originally in, I believe, Final Fantasy IV. Also made a reappearance in Final Fantasy XIV. Not surprising considering Final Fantasy XIV has pulled in tons of different enemies from all the various Final Fantasy titles. But granted, having Yoshi P work on 14 as well as being one of the people overseeing 16 is no surprise we're getting kind of some old some old enemies brought into Final Fantasy 16. So with that, we're going to be going through here, breaking it down, trying to see what we can dwell from the combat as well as everything going on as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Intro. Okay, here's the actual fight. So right off the bat, we're using the limit break here, and watch Clive's attacks. Still going down. And now we're back to normal. So I think it's worth pointing out that, you know, if you haven't noticed already, we can't use Ifrit's abilities or his skills, at least not that we've seen, compared to the other iconic abilities that we can access, right? But when we use our limit break, we can actually use Ifrit's abilities then. That's kind of why we had the fiery attacks here. And that's kind of what's going on with Clive and his attacks during the limit break. Looks like we're using combination of Phoenix, Garuda, and Ramu. And every time, I'm assuming this dodge animation that we get for a perfect dodge is due to right there, right? We keep seeing him do this over precision dodge number 8. Is because I'm going to assume of some sort of accessory he has. According to this, it doesn't look like there are any sort of the easy talismans equipped, so it is most likely a certain animation you get with whatever sort of gear that the person has equipped for this at the moment. Boss is staggered. So mid-fight animation here. So as we can see here from what's going on, it looks like Shiva has a ton of ice that is trying to help us versus Liquid Flame. He is now using Swelter, which is burning it. And then she refreezes again to help us out. There we can see Shiva in the background, which is pretty sick, giving us time to fight Liquid Flame. So this is essentially what appears to be like phase 2. Take damage there. I think it's important to point out that our limit break gauge goes up pretty quick, especially, you know, when you're staggered. We got this up pretty fast. Precision dodge again animation. I think that precision dodge is something linked to Ifrit as well. Because let's go back here just a second. So he's still fiery even after the fact, even though it looks like his attacks are still pretty standard. And then it goes away. Takes damage there. See the health bar go down. Takes damage again. Or get our limit break up from taking damage. I do want to point something out as well. So right there, from executing a precision dodge, we do get limit break gauge from that as well as taking damage. Right there, that's the more damage we take now, that fills up the meter. Missed both of our dodges there. Phoenix abilities. So that was almost like a mini stagger there. His stagger bar is still here. He is not staggered yet. Another precision dodge. We're getting him close to the halfway health point though. There we use a potion. Wow, he just straight up missed that by sidestepping it. There's the stagger. Now we're just gonna start going through all the abilities. Judgment Bolt is here. This ability looks so sick. Ramu's signature ability right there. 28k stagger damage. So here we getting phase 3, 11th hour. He's splitting into his different clones or forms that he could do. So this ability is really unique right here for a specific reason, and I'll elaborate why. So if you've ever played Final Fantasy XIV, one of your first trials that you'll do is actually going to be versus Ifrit. Ifrit has an ability that's actually very similar to this, where you see copies of him lined up around the outside of the arena, and of course you have to go to the safe zone. So seeing this in a RPG, like the action RPG like this, is actually really cool to see. You know, same mechanic kind of slightly adapted to this, so really cool little nod, and then also knowing the reference to that as well. And then right here they have the 4, they converge on Clive. Gigantic AoE, he precision dodged that. That probably would have done a ton of damage. And so he actually gets a mini stagger from that attack as well. So by avoiding that, that gives us a chance to get some DPS in. So have our limit break again as well. Dive bomb attack. Flagrant coral. So he can essentially turn into like a wyvern or dragon as well as a coral, which is pretty cool to see. I don't remember the different forms that Liquid Flame took on in the original Final Fantasy IV. Here we go. Limit break. Ifrit Clive. The dodging actually looks like it's not too hard. Got hit there. There, see that one he buffered earlier. Got hit there. Staggered again, and then this is probably going to be the final burst of damage here. That move hit so hard. Last 2 times we did 23 or 22 and then 26k damage, and that was 8k alone from Judgment Bolt. 29k there, and boom. That's the fight right there. I think one thing that's really interesting to we unfortunately don't get to see what we get, right? We get our experience though, our money, everything like that. I think it is a good thing to point out though that the entire video is pretty much the fight, just under 7 minutes. So I know one of the concerns for this game still has been the time to kill. So going through an entire boss fight in under 7 minutes is pretty standard, you know, so nothing really crazy there. Of course, you know, things are always subject to change, right? Especially, you know, in these earlier forms compared to what we get the final version when it releases here pretty soon. So, but pretty interesting boss fight. We've already seen the major core mechanics of the actual fight. Getting to see the cinematic with Shiva here is pretty neat, as we're dueling Liquid Flame as well. So also to give you some sort of like context story spoilers, we just can tell from the background as well. I do want to get a better view of this. Might be easier to see from the very beginning. So here we can see the background. This is in fact the Iron Kingdom, which is where we will be fighting Liquid Flame. Why we're fighting him and not an Eikon or something like that, time will tell. But just good to know different context as well, considering the Iron Kingdom is kind of fiery themed. No surprise, right, that we fight Liquid Flame or an enemy such as him. Why we're fighting Liquid Flame, I'm really excited to see why we're fighting this sort of enemy, whatever the hell he is, whether he's somebody we know taking on this sort of elemental form. Time will tell. But I think that's pretty much it for this one. I don't think there's really anything else, like I said, outside of the other combat mechanics we've already seen from the different trailers, things like that. It is really nice though. I do like we've seen now is the unique abilities that we cannot pretty much, it seems like the unblockable attacks, we get this notification here that we do need to dodge them. I think it's pretty nice to see, as well as it's pretty clear as well what exactly is going on if they're using a unique ability. So that is going to be that. Thank you guys for watching. Should have some more 16 information here pretty soon. We have the LA event coming up here, I believe, later this week, which is we're expected to get the demo. So be ready for that. If anything else comes up, you can find more information here on the channel. So for that, please like the video, subscribe for more FF16 content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and deuces. See ya.